Jadon Sancho's relationship with Erik ten Hag is at a breaking point after the Dutch manager didn't include the winger in the matchday squad against Arsenal. And if that wasn't bad enough, when asked about Sancho after the game, Ten Hag had several options for how to respond. But he told the media that Sancho hadn't trained well enough to make the squad. Sancho even responded in social media. The winger may feel like he's been a scapegoat for a long time, but this isn't the first time he's been in trouble with lack of discipline. Is this familiar pattern leading into Sancho's departure from Old Trafford? When United paid £73 million for Jadon Sancho in 2021, the fans expected more than only 9 Premier League goals and 6 assists in 2 full seasons. However, the fans have supported Sancho more than most other players, despite his lack of delivery on the field for the Red Devils. We're sure Harry Maguire would have loved some of the support Sancho had received without even trying to deliver. The situation at Manchester United is quite chaotic at the moment. First, there was controversy surrounding Mason Greenwood and Anthony Martial. Now, Jadon Sancho is also in the spotlight. Erik ten Hag decided not to include Sancho in the squad to face Arsenal because of his performance in training. This decision led the 23-year-old to express his frustration on social media, suggesting that he had been made a scapegoat for United's poor recent results. So, what exactly happened? And what's the broader context of the situation? When Erik ten Hag was questioned about Jadon Sancho's absence from the Manchester United squad against Arsenal, he could have cited health concerns for the player, mentioned the match wasn't suitable for him, or simply pointed out that coaching decisions were made. However, he chose to be brutally honest. Ten Hag stated, "We didn't select him based on his performance in training. At Manchester United, you must constantly perform at a high level every day. We have choices to make in the forward positions, so for this game, he wasn't included." Surprisingly, Sancho, who has been relatively quiet in the media over the past year and doesn't typically speak out on social media, swiftly responded. Within an hour of Ten Hag's press conference, Sancho took to Twitter to convey his message. "Please don't believe everything you read. I won't tolerate false claims. I have been diligent in my training this week. I believe there are underlying reasons for this situation that I won't delve into. I've felt like a scapegoat for a long time, and it's unfair." Suddenly, Ten Hag found himself dealing with another significant issue. Adding to his troubles following an injury crisis, the recent fallout from the Mason Greenwood incident, and yet another uncomfortable situation involving Antony. One way to interpret the situation is that Erik ten Hag was simply displaying a characteristic often associated with the Dutch, being straightforward and candid. People from the Netherlands are known for their directness. Manchester United's previous Dutch manager, Louis van Gaal, was notorious for speaking his mind during his eventful 2-year tenure at Old Trafford. Whether it was describing an incident involving Robert Huth as sex machoism, or referring to a journalist as a fat man, Van Gaal was never one to mince words. In comparison, Ten Hag might seem more reserved. However, while he usually exercises restraint, there are moments when he can't help but speak his mind. For instance, when Marcus Rashford was excluded from the team in a game against Wolves last season, Ten Hag initially explained it as a matter of internal discipline, later leading the striker to admit that he had been late to a team meeting. Similarly, when he faced criticism for substituting Bruno Fernandes last season, he told a journalist, "You're looking a cow in the butt." It's possible that he meant no harm by this response regarding Sancho, even if the winger interpreted it differently. Furthermore, Ten Hag is known for being a strict disciplinarian. If players, regardless of their status within the team, are late, they can expect to be dropped. This approach is neither personal nor as rigidly enforced as it was under Louis van Gaal, when one senior player decided he had enough after being reprimanded for being 28 seconds late to a meeting. Nonetheless, Ten Hag upholds the high standards that have contributed to his success at previous clubs. At first glance, Jadon Sancho's fiery response to Erik ten Hag might make it seem like the coach was being harsh and insensitive. However, the reality is that Ten Hag showed remarkable tactfulness in dealing with Sancho last season. When Sancho's performance took a significant downturn after a promising start to the season, Ten Hag made a bold decision. He removed Sancho from the squad for 3 months and devised a personalized training program for him. This program included sending Sancho to train with the Dutch amateur club Rosmalen, where he could work with coaches trusted by Ten Hag away from the intense scrutiny of Old Trafford. Upon Sancho's return to the team in February, he made an impactful comeback, notably scoring a splendid goal in the 2-2 draw against Leeds. Ten Hag himself praised Sancho for his performance. However, as time passes, it's evident that Sancho has not consistently improved since his return. While he did score an impressive goal against Leicester 2 weeks later and a superb strike against Tottenham in April, he often seemed to lack his former speed, creativity, and confidence. Frequently, he opted for safe short passes, slowing down counterattacks instead of taking risks to unlock the opponent's defense. In the last 3 months of one season, he made 10 league starts but contributed just 2 goals and 2 assists. Despite having some positive moments as a false nine during the preseason tour of the USA, he was not included in the starting lineup for United's first 3 Premier League games, coming off the bench each time with limited impact. Nevertheless, it's important that we don't rush to conclusions, immediately point the finger, and judge. It's possible that Jadon Sancho is grappling with a personal issue that the public isn't aware of. Dele Alli's emotional interview with Gary Neville during the summer serves as a reminder that footballers, like everyone else, can face personal challenges that can affect their personal lives. How Sancho chooses to address such questions and keep his private matters private should ultimately be his decision. All Manchester United can do is support and encourage Sancho to refocus and rediscover his former self. The club and Ten Hag have made extensive efforts to help him get his career back on track. However, there are indications that Sancho's own attitude might be his biggest obstacle. During his time at Borussia Dortmund, where he blossomed into one of the most exciting attacking players globally, boasting 17 Bundesliga goals and 17 assists in a single season, Sancho had several disagreements with coach Lucien Favre. In a notable incident in 2019, Sancho was excluded from a match against Borussia Mönchengladbach because he returned late to the squad after international duty. Sporting director Michael Zorc explained, "Jadon is a good person, but he's still very young and rapidly rose to the top. Sometimes he may test his boundaries, and that's why we chose not to include him today." In 2020, Sancho also pushed boundaries when he violated Germany's coronavirus lockdown rules by getting a haircut, resulting in a fine from the German FA. Emre Can, his teammate at the time, commented on this, saying, "We know that he needs to be more disciplined in some aspects, and he's aware of that himself. He must make wiser decisions and be mature in handling such situations. Making such mistakes in the future is not an option. We need to guide Jadon in the right direction. He's a great guy both on and off the pitch. He doesn't intend to create controversies." Sancho's punctuality has been a concern, not only at Manchester United, but also with the England national team. He and Phil Foden were left out of an under-19 game against Latvia for arriving late to a team meeting. Additionally, it's reported that England manager Gareth Southgate was unimpressed with Sancho's demeanor after being omitted from the starting lineup in the Euro 2020 opener against Croatia. Subsequently, he has played only once for the Three Lions in the past 2 years. While it's understandable that Sancho wanted to defend himself in response to Ten Hag's criticism of his training performances, the manner in which he did it hasn't been beneficial for himself or his manager. Accusing the team of making him a scapegoat for their struggles has reportedly not gone over too well with Ten Hag. This assertion doesn't align with the facts. A player who hasn't started any matches can hardly be held responsible for Manchester United's difficulties. Media discussions about the team's struggles this season have primarily centered on players like Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro, or Marcus Rashford. Prior to Sunday, Sancho had received little attention. By openly confronting Ten Hag and making these statements, Sancho may have put himself in a difficult position. Rio Ferdinand, for one, doesn't see a way for him to reconcile with the manager at Old Trafford. Erik Ten Hag has a history of being unforgiving when it comes to players who underperform on the field, as evident in cases like David De Gea and Harry Maguire. De Gea had a new contract revoked, while Maguire lost his captaincy. Even Cristiano Ronaldo faced Ten Hag's no-nonsense approach after questioning authority, famously saying in an interview with Piers Morgan last year, "I don't have respect for him because he doesn't have respect for me." Jadon Sancho has managed to commit both of these offenses. Since his £73 million move in 2021, he has failed to reach the heights he achieved with Dortmund, and now he has taken on the manager as well. To maintain his authority, Ten Hag must now respond firmly. Despite Manchester United's turbulent start to the season, Ten Hag is the most promising manager the club has since Sir Alex Ferguson. Sir Alex, in his time, took decisive actions against players like Roy Keane and David Beckham when they challenged his authority. Both Keane and Beckham were more significant figures for the club than Sancho, but they too had to depart. Unless Sancho apologizes to Ten Hag and convinces him of his determination to earn his place, he may face a similar fate. By the time this video is recorded, he's already deleted the tweet, even though it was out there for almost 2 weeks. What are your thoughts on this situation and the turmoil surrounding Manchester United? Please share your opinions in the comments below. If you want to know how Man United are developing their style under Ten Hag, click on this video next. Thanks for watching.